Cove, LE. In the top left-hand corner of King's Cove, in the orange, the yellow, whatever color that is, it is Invalid. His opponent, in the bottom right-hand corner, in the blue, playing Terran also, it is AbyPhantom. Alright, so this is the second TvT we've had in a while, and our final is going to be a TvP. So the Zergs really letting us down this tournament, except for Chocolate, who won the Diamond Heroes 1 tournament outright. So it'll be very interesting to see what these Terrans bring to the table, and Invalid is already bringing something. Now, there's been no scout from either player. Abby hasn't set an SCV, and neither has Invalid. So this proxy barracks is gonna get caught. Or is not, rather, gonna get caught. Abby is not gonna see it coming. What is Invalid gonna build out of this proxy barracks? Barracks on the high ground here for Abby. Looks like Abby's finishing off the... Yeah, gonna finish off the wall eventually. The SCV goes across the map to scout, and the Reaper looks like it's also queued all the way across the map. So, a tech lab. Is this gonna be Proxy Marauder Concussive Shell? Oh, I think it is. I love it. Here we go. So second barracks coming down now. First tech lab is down. The SCV's got about halfway across the map. Oh no, command center on the low ground for Abby. This is going to be really, really difficult. Now there is only one Oh, it's a factory. It's not a second barracks. I'm dumb. Sorry. Factory building a reactor. Tech lab here as well. Oh, barracks building a reactor. Factory gonna hop onto this tech lab. Abby gonna get to the main base, gonna see that some things are missing here. Gonna scout around, checking a whole lot. Missed a bit up here at the top. Don't forget to be thorough in your scouting. The Reaper immediately from Abby gonna come back home, I think, to try and defend against this, or at least figure out where that. Oh my God, it's a proxy 111. I don't believe it. The Reaper is gonna scout it though. The proxy 111 has been caught, and the Reaper is immediately gonna start raining down shots onto this reactor. Gonna try and pick off the SCV as well. That SCV, yeah, the immediate cancel on the starport. The SCV goes back home. Cryogenic, stop talking in chat. Come on, man. It's a finals. I will kick you if you talk anymore in chat, Cryogenic. Reaper is out. Siege Tank will chase away the Reaper, though. Siege Tank siege is up for some reason, and more Marines are coming out very quickly here. So this rush could be defended as long as Abby gets something on the ground up top. She does. There is a bunker up top, but nothing else. So, okay, a couple Marines here from Abby are going to get gunned down here. Marine and Siege Tank very strong against this. Abby doesn't have a whole lot back home, trying to build a couple extra barracks in a factory, but I don't think this is going to be a hold. I think an early tank here from Invalid. Abby is not going to be prepared here. Opens the gates. And the tank begins to take the fire. Okay, there it is. The tank getting up to the top of the ramp. Gonna siege up, and oh no, don't get friendly fired, buddies. Okay, gonna pick off that reactor. A nice little effect there as the tank sets up on the high ground. And I think Abby's in a whole heap of help and trouble here. 5 Marines are here. The Marines do pick off one of Invalid's Marines, but with high ground vision now, Invalid has that siege tank up on the high ground and can shell down onto this bunker. This looks like an incredible early game build from Invalid. Gonna take down one supply depot. The SCVs have been pulled. The siege tank forced to get down. Now there is a surround here on the SCVs, but the SCVs are gonna be lambs to the slaughter. The siege tank goes down. Nice pickup by the SCV boys, but 11, 12, 13. Man, that's so many SCVs that go down. I don't believe it. Will the SCVs actually clean this up? The tank kiting back just a little bit, but more and more Marines pouring out. Not a second siege tank, though. So one tank is still alive, and the last Marine, oh, barely makes it out. Bunker about to get started on the high ground, but the siege tank also starting on the low ground, and the siege tank beginning to shell away. Liberator here now giving high ground vision, setting up right over that factory so that that poor Widow Mine is not going to... Oh, my God, the Widow Mine makes it out barely, but... walks into siege tank fire. The Marine's going to pick off that SCV, and I think that has got to be the end of the game now for AbyPhantom, as the base is beset by a really interesting and unusual mix of units. Second Widow Mine trying to get down, but it's definitely not going to get down before these Marines pick it up. The SCVs are pulled once again. The Widow Mine is able to... Nah, not going to happen. AbyPhantom says, ugh, and GG's out, giving the win to Invalid in game number 1. All right, guys, let's put 2 minutes on the clock and get in to game number 2 between AbyPhantom and Invalid. Alright guys, the countdown has completed and we are going to find ourselves on New Repugnancy LE for game number 2 in this best of 5 series for the 3rd place match. So let's get, there it is, all set up and into the game. Beautiful. Pardon me. Alright, in the bottom, left-hand corner of New Repugnancy in the goldenrod, it is Invalid. And his opponent. On the top, right-hand side of the map, in the blue, it is AbyPhantom. Love the rain sound effects on this map. It's very subtle, but it really gets you in to New Repugnancy. It's gorgeous. The map makers for StarCraft 2 are so damn good at their jobs. It is scary. Could not be more impressed with all the work that they put in for, you know, very little reward, because all we ever do is complain about the maps, right? Both barracks gonna finish up here at about the same time. Ooh, loud music there. Alright, so both players finishing up at about the same time here. Have to see if we decide to see a different strategy between the two of them. Both players taking one gas. Pretty much identical mirror matches, mirrors so far. No orbital command from, never mind, there's the orbital command, just a little bit behind there from Invalid. But both players, Reapers, literally 2 seconds difference from each other. Should not matter at all. SCV Scout here from Invalid is going to get in and see everything that his opponent's up to. His opponent not going to get that SCV Scout down, but the SCV is already out for AbyPhantom, and we'll see the command center on the low ground there for Invalid. And this one song is like twice the volume of every other song. Oh, a cute little gas steal there from Invalid. And the, oh man, didn't get a cancel there, actually took it out. So a little bit of lost gas time there for AbyPhantom. Invalid bumping out some cute little strats here in this Platinum Heroes tournament. Reaper for AbyPhantom, waiting in the middle of the map, just taking her time getting over there. Taking its time getting over there. Behind this, it looks like both players got a factory. We got a command center on the high ground here for AbyPhantom. So a little bit behind economically, but not too bad. The Reapers for Invalid going to jump up and walk away just at the wrong time as the Reaper for AbyPhantom gets into the main base here. And it's going to have just a couple extra seconds here to pick off a couple SCVs before the two Reapers from Invalid come across. So a big pull there, and Invalid getting a lot of lost mining time though. AbyPhantom's Reaper may be snookered though. Some micro battling is happening now. Two Reapers against one. How long can AbyPhantom hold out? Not very long is the answer. So a quick kill there for the two Reapers from Invalid, who happily drops a starport up on the high ground right after that. Now there's no starport yet for his opponent, who is building a second barracks instead at the top of their, inside their main. Orbital Command just morphing out for AbyPhantom, but the Orbital Command already on the low ground here for Invalid, and SCV's already mining from it. So Invalid in a slightly better economic position, but not a huge difference here, as I think the Orbital Command is going to land at about the same time that, yeah, the Orbital Command just finishes up here, drops its first mule, and yeah, AbyPhantom just going to be a couple seconds behind. Another, okay, starport behind this, so a 2-1-1 here from AbyPhantom. A little initial Reaper and Hellion pressure from Invalid, who is finishing up a starport and adding on 2 more barracks behind this back home. Abby has started her starport. Yeah, that's the 2-1-1. And Stimpack as well, so Stimpack going to be ahead just a little bit by Abby. But wow, Reaper's going to be able to pick off one Marine there, certainly, and get the SCV trying to build that supply depot wall. Another SCV has come down, and Invalid with another free little SCV kill there. That's nice. 2 SCV kills and a Marine for almost nothing. Abby going to drop 2 Widow Mines here into the main to protect, the natural to protect rather. And those SCVs going to pop back out to finish building those supply depots. Of course, they're outside the range of those Widow Mines, so another SCV is going to go down for a total of 3 now. Invalid with a nice, cute little contain here. I think this is an adorable little build. 5 Marines, probably going to force this to go away at some point, but wow, got the kill on that. Oh no, here we go. Boom, there it is. 2 Widow Mines doing their job, taking out 2 Reapers and 1 Hellion. Well cleaned up there by Abby, who's getting frustrated with that pressure for sure. Stimpack finally starting for Invalid here. It's out a little bit late here, but not too badly, so it'll be about, well, 40 seconds behind. So it'll be a very short window for Abby to move across the map with Stim when their opponent doesn't have it. Invalid cranking out everything you would expect to see from a Bio-Terran. Pardon me. Yeah, looks like, wow, near identical builds for both players here. 3 barracks, factory, starport. 2 barracks, factory, starport with a 3rd barracks on the way. Ain't no problem for either of these players. They both look like they're doing about the same thing. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw identical, well, never mind. I was going to say identical Marine drops, but I don't think that's actually going to happen. Abby might be gearing up for an interesting little drop here, as he does. The Widow Mines are out there protecting the base, but I'm not sure if the timing is going to be quite right. We do see a very small drop here coming out for Invalid, about halfway across the map now. Only 6 Marines, so this isn't intended to kill; it's just intended to wound. But it looks like, ooh, Widow Mines moving into position here. I think Abby may have sniffed this out just a little bit, and the Widow Mines need to get burrowed here. Invalid checking for that 3rd, not going to see it. Going up into the main here. The Widow Mine's not down though, so this attack from Invalid might actually do something. Uh-oh, Invalid indecisive right now, moving around. Oh geez, oh geez. Invalid going down to the natural expansion here, and it looks like nothing has been pulled back for AbyPhantom yet. There we go. Here's the sounds of SCVs dying, and Invalid focusing down an extractor, and not really. Oh man, oh no, the medevac, the medevac, the medevac! Okay, never mind. Whew. Invalid barely getting out there with their life. Stimpack about to finish up. So a very unusual choice. But the Liberator here from AbyPhantom is going to be able to take out 2 SCVs, make it 3. Oh, 3, there it is, before the 2 Vikings from Invalid are going to take it out. So a little bit of punching and jabbing going on from both players here, but it looks pretty even so far. Again, tech choices look about the same for both players. 3 barracks, 1 starport, 1 factory. There's a nice Liberator here. 4 more kills for AbyPhantom. And a couple Marines going to go down as well in the fight before that Liberator gets taken out. So, but again, Invalid was pumping out a couple more SCVs than Abby was. So it looks like the incomes will stabilize just a little bit, if not going a little bit in favor of AbyPhantom. Abby building that 3rd command center on the high ground there. And cancel the factory to build a barracks, it looks like. And here we see the first move out from Invalid. Invalid with 2 Vikings here to help control the airspace, and no Vikings for AbyPhantom just yet. So Abby really gonna, okay, 2 Vikings on the way for AbyPhantom. So she will be evenly matched. So it'll come down to control here. As long as these Vikings don't get, taken out by any of these, oh gosh. Vikings trying to get some free shots off here on the medevac, which they do. And 1 medevac for Invalid. Sorry guys, it's 1 in the morning here Seoul time, so my body is not super happy with what I'm doing to it right now. Oh man, Vikings gonna get a free medevac pick off here. That really hurts for Invalid. Scan showing that Abby has a very safe unassailable position with 2 siege tanks on the high ground here, sieged up. So Invalid sieged up on the low ground, but of course without that air control from the Vikings, you're going to be unable to really get any siege tank shots that really mean anything. Vikings here pushing out for AbyPhantom. Going to see everything that's going on. A couple Liberators being added on for Invalid here. These armies are very, very similar to each other, so it's very hard to call what's going to happen here. I'm not sure why Abby has these Vikings behind the army, maybe trying to cut off some medevac reinforcements. But to be honest, I'm not sure. Combat shield going to finish up, as well as infantry weapons level 1. There we go. So AbyPhantom going to take the upgrade advantage for the bio forces. But it looks like, and combat shields as well. So Abby ahead in the upgrades game. In fact, if you take a look at the upgrades game, we'll see +1/+1 finishing up, and really concussive shell marauders, and there's only a couple marauders. 1 marauder mixed in here. Abby's Phantom going to siege up on the low ground here, and it looks like here's the attack coming. Marines getting sieged into siege tank range there, or stimmed into siege tank range there. The scan, though, from Invalid is going to mean that she can probably push these Liberators forward and try and break the position. The Vikings from AbyPhantom move forward and pick off 1 Liberator, pick off the second. Oh no, the Liberator stays alive. Very nicely done. The Liberator with 1 health left, but the stim bio from AbyPhantom is going to be enough to clean up the opponent, and Invalid really botching that attack very poorly. The Vikings taking out the Liberators, and then the stimmed units from Invalid running right into siege tank range before all the siege tanks were cleared out. So AbyPhantom with a very clear advantage, going to stim his or her way all the way across the map. It's got to be him. Stim his way all the way across the map here, and with 3 Vikings to control the airspace and a whole heap of helping of Marines, it looks like this could be the end of the day for Invalid, who could be fighting a tough battle to win. No siege tanks, stim bio, but there's no medevac support here for Invalid, who's going to be forced to go backwards here and get chased down by AbyPhantom. Abby with more than twice the army supply here, going to come back and try and pick off a couple structures as well. Some nice shots off, getting a couple Vikings for Invalid as well. The siege tank still working its way down. The siege tank unsieges, a massive pickup for Abby. Going to move onto the high ground here, and this could be the end. You see the stream of blue units coming across the map here. The Vikings picking off everything they possibly can. The Terran unloading onto the top here. Abby doing a phenomenal work. And here we go. Stim bio, a lot of Marauders mixed into the army here for Invalid. That's a lot of chunky units here. A lot of slowed down Marines, rather. From Abby, but the siege tank now up on the high ground as well, as Abby is elevatoring all the units up onto the high ground. The siege tank on the high ground needs to siege up here. The siege tank on the low ground doing a lot of damage. There we go. Invalid taking the low ground, interestingly, to fight against that tank, but now doesn't quite have the vision that he wants. All the Marauders get cleaned up, and now there's no vision on the high ground. These siege tanks, okay, they can do a little bit. They can't see the high ground, but it does leave. Oh no, don't take this fight, Abby. What are you doing? Unload. Get out here. Siege tank gonna unload as well, and Abby gonna pick up and I think get out of there. Both players floating an incredible number of middles right now. Abby with a 3rd base established. The 3rd base just getting started here for Invalid, and both players need to spend their money desperately. Invalid immediately begins a planetary fortress and 3 extra barracks, whereas back home Abby is adding on +2/+2. Pardon me, and has forgotten that mules exist. Wow, that was an incredible engagement from both players. I was really interested to see Invalid taking the low ground here at this 3rd position, just to cut off any reinforcements and make sure that the attack stopped at least where it stopped. So Invalid doing a decent job at fending off an attack that could have killed him. A scan there from Invalid going to show Abby building a lot more barracks than he is, and he's not going to feel good about that. Invalid mixing in a factory as well as a 4th command center, but Abby starting that 4th command center at the 4th base as well. So Abby, again, going to stay significantly ahead here in income. Well, with mules, it bounces back and forth, but Abby should be taking the lead there quite shortly. We do see a couple Vikings here going for a landed Viking harass, I guess, at the 3rd base of Abby. An interesting choice, and there's not a whole lot of army here to defend against it. So what can I say? It's an unusual harass, but it looks like it's going to pay off. The 2 Vikings land, and they're going to start gunning down hapless SCVs. 1, 2, 3, 4, forcing this entire blob of army from Abby back home to defend against Invalid, who is also going to take out a refinery there. Nicely done. And the 2 Vikings just going to pick up and get the F out of there. Unfortunately, there's a whole heap and helping of Vikings behind that as well. And this one is going to get hunted down after 3 kills. It will pay for its sins with this massive air force from Abby. Look at all this. A bunch of Vikings, a couple Liberators, a whole mass of medevacs as well. Jiminy Christmas, Abby has got everything and the kitchen sink in here. Hellion run by, going to get thwarted by a couple Marines. Reinforcements going to get thwarted as well by the massive army. Stim the entire bio here to get across the map. Scans up on the high ground, sees there's nothing there. Is going to, okay, not going to back up. Going to back up, not going to engage up onto the high ground here. Going to poke around and see where the third has been rebuilt. The sensor tower has made itself known, and of course, Abby's going to pop in and destroy that sensor tower right away. So now her army is in the dark. Invalid not moving to protect his third base, though. Invalid still at the gap between the natural and the other, and the neck of the natural and the other third. So it looks like Abby's going to have plenty of time to get into position here as Invalid stims over to try and protect this. But man, this Bioforce is very small. I think Abby can probably just move into this, and this is going to be fantastic work here. The Planetary Fortress is going to get a lot of work done here. 6 kills already, but that is just too much bio. The Planetary Fortress, the numbers are dropping like it's the stock market in the 20s. And Abby, okay, disengages. Going to attack the siege tanks before they get sieged up here. And it looks like all the Bioforces are going to go down. Re-engaging into, but unfortunately the mass repair has been able to send this Planetary Fortress back up. So the Planetary Fortress slowly getting knocked down. The SCV still repairing it, though. Abby needs to focus down some of these SCVs. Okay, there it goes. Finally, the third has been broken, and Abby still has units to spare. With 90 army supply to 22, Abby looks like he is willing to take this game out. I keep trying to call Abby a she. I'm so sorry. Marine stim here, now out of siege tank range, so Abby needs to move those tanks up or else it might lose a lot more of the Bioforces. But with a 2-1 advantage, Invalid is going to GG out, and Abby is going to take game number 1, or game number 2, pardon me. Wow. That ties our players up at 1-1 in this best of 5. So guys, I'm going to put 3 minutes on the clock. I need to step away, get a little bit more water, and load us in to map number 3, which is going to be Automaton. So if you'll give me a quick break, we'll be right back with game 3 for the third place match. All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back. We are just about to hop in to game number 3 for the third place match in the Platinum Heroes tournament. I am so excited, guys. The series is currently tied up 1-1 between these two incredible players. And they are both putting on an amazing TvT show. So let's get into game number 3. We find ourselves on Automaton LE. On the far right-hand side, at the 2 o'clock position, in the yellow, it is Invalid. His opponent on the far side of the map with a relentless biotank assault. At the spawning at the 8 o'clock position in the blue, it is AbyPhantom. Excellent. Oh, we are already behind schedule. Oh dear. Oh no, this is right when the third place match was supposed to start. So we're actually ahead of schedule a little bit. Fantastic. I will say it's 1 o'clock p.m. here, 1 o'clock a.m. rather, in Seoul for me. So I am exhausted. You may have seen me yawning a little bit last match. So it has happened. I have uncorked the Beta 500, the Korean energy drink that has 900 milligrams of vitamin C apparently, which seems like an unhealthy amount of vitamin C. It's delicious. Beta 500 people, if you're looking for someone to sponsor you, here this is my ad. You ready? Oh, is it this way? Yeah, here, let me get the label out. Beta 500. Quench your thirst. Right? Does that work? I could do that. I could sell that, right? Hopefully it'll give me enough energy to finish out. We still have another best of 5 after this, so if you are just joining us, you came at exactly the right time. This match here, the third place match, is just for glory. Both of these players have won $12.50, which is not too bad for a platinum tournament. But they are playing now to see who gets the honor of calling themselves the bronze medalist in the first inaugural Platinum Heroes 1 tournament. Now, the next best of 5 after this, the grand finals, is a $75 show match. That's right. The second place winner receives $25, and the first place winner receives the grand prize, which is $50. I was saying this a little bit earlier. Oh, we got a little bit of lag here happening. Uh-oh. Some lag. That's not good. It's because I'm not a referee. I'm just an observer. I can't pause. Apologies. Oh gosh, I hope everything's fine. Anyway, yeah, what's up? If you're just joining us, this is the third place match, and this is fantastic. All right. So Hellion gonna drive out the stuff there in the natural expansion here, but he's gonna get gunned down a little bit by a couple more Marines who are gonna drive it away. So Invalid is gonna succeed in forcing lost mining time here for this, but there we go. The Hellion is gonna get pushed away. So oversaturation in the main here, but AbyPhantom needs to move back. There we go. With the Marines down here, the wall being finished off, that Hellion has probably done its job. Back home for Invalid, we see a second barracks down, starport moving over, and three factories as well. So Invalid looks like going for a heavy mech play this time around. On the other side, we see another starport and 2 barracks out for AbyPhantom. So Abby looks like gonna mix in bio and mech stuff. Here we go, Cyclone attack here. Gonna pick off one Hellion here. The Cyclone's still alive though from Invalid, and Invalid could do a pretty good job here if that Cyclone's able to lock on. There it is, the Cyclone able to lock on, picks off Ooh, picks off that Hellion as well. So 2 Hellion kills there for that Cyclone. Invalid doing a nice job of just picking down Abby's units little by little. Invalid finally landing that command center on the low ground. But the income tab for Abby is definitely the income tab is definitely in advantage of Abby, who's got that second orbital command down a little bit sooner. If you want to know a fun Korean drinking game, while we're waiting for these guys to build up forces, because this is a pretty passive game so far, all the caps in Korea, for some reason, they stick. Like you can see on the cap here, it sticks to it. It's very easy. Cyclones with a free little SCV kill there. Nice. Gonna lock onto that supply depot because why should it be alive? Oh, jeez. There we go. Okay. And wow, taking out a second supply depot. These Marines need to get out here and push these Cyclones away. But Invalid really doing a lot of damage here. I'm surprised at how much he's able to get with these Cyclones. Cyclones taking a little bit of damage from the Marines here, but all 4 of them lock on, and the second supply depot goes down. Abby is in real danger of being supply blocked if one more goes down. Abby is not yet building any more supply depots, so this could be a very effective little harassment tactic here as another supply depot goes down, and Abby is now very heavily supply blocked. Siege tank on the high ground to try and drive him away, but look at that, they can skirt around it and lock onto this other supply depot. So 1 Cyclone does go down, but the 3 Cyclones are still locked on. Oh man, this supply depot just needs to burn down. There it is, boom. Siege tank still on the high ground, but that is incredible. Look at that, 4 supply depots taken down. Abby has been supply blocked now for about a solid minute. That is a great harassment there from Invalid. Okay, Armory. Going down for Invalid, who is continuing to mech up with 3 factories now pumping out. Looks like Siege tank and hopefully a couple Cyclones as well. I'm going to finish this story really quickly. The caps here never come off. So a drinking game that we play in Korea is you pull the cap usually off a soju bottle, and then you flick it, and you pass it to the next person, and they flick it as hard as they can, and the next person flicks it as hard as they can, and if you're the person who flicks it and it goes off, then you have to drink. It's pretty cool. Highly recommend it if you're ever in Korea. Although if you're ever in Korea drinking soju and you don't call me, I'll be a little disappointed, I'll be honest. Abby dropping a bunch of mules here at the 3rd expansion. 3rd expansion still on the way for Invalid, so both players really teching up. This has been a very passive game so far. Just a handful of units lost as both players are content to sit back on their bases and macro away. Abby adding on more barracks, more starports, a couple siege tanks as well. The heavy mech continuing here for Invalid, who's getting +1 vehicle weapons. Blue Flame for the Hellions. A great scan there for Abby is going to show everything that Invalid is making, including that 4th factory with a reactor on it. Won't show the reactor, but the 4th factory anyway. So Abby is going to know exactly what's coming up. Invalid sees the scan, gets concerned that there may be a drop coming in, sets up the tanks in the main base, but of course there's no such drop. Abby content to sit back home and just wait. Infantry weapons level 1. About 10 seconds away from finishing up. Looks like only 1 engineering bay down for Abby, though, I think. Oh, 2 engineering bays, just not both of them spinning for some reason. Ooh, an interesting choice there. Obviously, if you've got 2 engineering bays, it would be great to have. There we go. +1 finally starts. I think Abby realized the mistake and immediately drops that armory to get +2 started as soon as possible. So the armory has been dropped there. Terran building armor coming up for... That's got to be a mistake, right? Terran building armor? What? Neo Steel armor. Wow. It has been a while since I've seen Neo Steel frame come out. Okay. Invalid going to go ahead and move across the map with a little strike force here. Abby is in good position to deal with it, but doesn't have any siege tanks set up yet. In fact, I don't think Abby has a whole lot of siege tanks at all. Only 4 of them. I only see 1 here. The others are... Where are the others? 1 at the natural, 1 at the top, and 2 down here at the 3rd. So this is going to hit really hard. I think if the Cyclones are microed pretty well, they can take out this 1 unsieged tank. Hopefully Abby sees this coming. Oh, jeez, oh, jeez, oh, jeez. 4 siege tank for Invalid against, well, 6 siege tanks for Invalid, but a couple back at home. Abby, unfortunately, not moving out or anything. Oh, jeez. Here we go. Okay, one scouting Hellion going to come in and see what it's up against. It's going to see that huge Bioforce and know that as long as those tanks get sieged up, Invalid is going to be in really good position. Invalid going to go ahead and move into view of this refinery, set up 4 siege tanks right on top of each other, and then try and pull this Terran army into siege tank range. Going to move these mech units way back here. The Liberators do get sieged up, but the Cyclones lock on immediately. Both Liberators taken down. And we need to see here, this Bioforce is not yet engaged. A huge stim here, but the Bio is not going to engage into siege tank range, and Invalid has full force to go ahead and start dropping siege tank shots onto this command center. The Cyclones getting back as far as they can, actually moving out of range. They don't have time to lock back on, and here we go. The Bioforce getting on top of all of those Cyclones, but it looks like, okay, good repair going down here for Abby onto the command center. The siege tank's going to pick up and get the heck out of there. Yeah, just as Abby begins to drop on those siege tanks. Going to drop on the siege tanks, though, and it looks like all 4 of these siege tanks might actually go down. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and... oh, get it, 4. There it is. Nice work. So a great defense there by Abby. That could have been really dangerous, but in fact, able to pull it out very well. Abby already established a planetary fortress there at the 4th base, and is going to go ahead and pop across the map here. A small amount of forces from Invalid coming higher, but a small amount of forces from Invalid. Oops. What? There we go. Going into the 3rd. Marines getting dropped right on top of these siege tanks. 3 siege tanks to protect, 3 siege tanks go down. There is a missile turret to pick off a couple of these medevacs, but it looks like AbyPhantom is going to be in really good shape. Pulling back with its Bioforce, needs to get underneath the siege tanks. Both the siege tanks now siege up for AbyPhantom. Take out the take out the Hellion rather. Vikings pushing forward to try and take out some of these medevacs, but here we go. Oh, get out of there. Tanks in a bad position there for Abby. High ground vision has been provided. The tank's going to take out the siege tank on the high ground there for Invalid. And now they're going to lay siege to the mineral line and natural. Again, these medevacs moving into the range of the missile turret. The missile turret getting for some free shots off there as a 3rd medevac goes down to the missile turret. The SCVs are all pulled, and they are all just going to get slaughtered. A little bit of friendly fire from the siege tanks, but 34 SCVs go down. And I think Abby is in really good shape there, forcing a lift off of the 3rd command center and rallying units across the map one at a time. Now, Invalid has set up a 4th base here that Abby hasn't quite spotted out yet, but it's going to make it very difficult to maintain this 4th base. As soon as it gets spotted, it's definitely going to get canceled. Liberators now sieging up for AbyPhantom, who has begun to contain the opponent on 2 bases. Vikings moving forward now. We're going to take out one of the Liberators. Siege tank moving into siege tank range for Invalid. Amazingly, the Liberator is saved, but unfortunately, one of the siege tanks does go down, so Abby's contained a little bit weaker than it might have otherwise been. Abby floating 2,000 minerals right now. Really needs to work on a couple extra production facilities. We do see reactors going down on a couple of the barracks, so more and more bio is coming out. Liberator gets cleaned up. That's a good kill. 2nd Liberator is cleaned up as well. Both Vikings go down, but they've already done their job. The Liberators have been gone. Have been removed from the game. Oh no, 2 more Vikings misrallied. Free kills there for Abby. Scans going down everywhere to see if there's any chance of this contain being broken anytime soon. Invalid's 4th base is now finished, but unfortunately his macro skills are not quite able to keep up with that as the attack continues. Abby's Vikings now kind of controlling some null space here. Thors have arrived, but there are a lot of Marauders mixed in here, and I think the Marauders are going to do great work against these Thors and other mech units. Got to stay out of that siege tank range, though. These 4 siege tanks from Invalid are doing great work. They've probably got a crazy number of kills. 6, 3, 4, not bad at all. I could see some medevacs coming out for AbyPhantom. This Bioforce is getting lower and lower with each stim, and no medevacs. That means their power is decreasing, and here we go. Just as we say it, cavalry has arrived. This is cute. Abby gonna try and load up those medevacs. The Vikings catch him, though. Uh-oh. Vikings in bad position, but it looks like Invalid wants to move out. One Thor is left, but AbyPhantom moving forward. Siege tanks shelling down on everything right now. A big stim into the siege tanks. The siege tanks are going to destroy a lot of this, but there's just enough bio to get on top of the siege tanks. 1 siege tank goes down. 2 siege tank goes down. 3rd siege tank goes down. There's no bio left for AbyPhantom, but there is nothing left for Invalid. 1 unsieged tank. Oh, 3 Marauders could have taken out the tank so quickly, and 1 Thor. Invalid desperately trying to pump out siege tanks to maintain the position. And Abby gonna go back home. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so Abby getting chased back home. And it looks like Invalid following for some reason. Oh my goodness, Invalid, reestablish this 3rd base. Get back to mining. Do your thing, man. There it is. All right. So Invalid has a nice little base set up here. So many factories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 factories on the make. All cranking out these heavy mech units. I don't know what Invalid is doing moving across the map like this. Abby clearly has a chokehold and a 4th base established as well. There we go. He scans the 4th base and sees maybe how far he is behind with this base already partially saturated. Scans going out all over the map. Everybody wants to see what everybody else is up to, and that's going to tell Invalid enough that he needs to go home, lick his wounds, and build up a force. Now, the good news is, Invalid already has a 5th base out. This is something that Abby does not have, and Abby is not building another base just yet. So it looks like the income could be swinging in favor of Invalid somewhat soon. Abby choosing a very interesting expansion direction. Usually, of course, you see players expanding counterclockwise on Automaton, but Abby expanding to the top 11 o'clock position here, expanding clockwise right next to Invalid's base. Now, this command center is upgrading to become a planetary fortress, which should save it a lot of trouble, but Abby's force is getting incredible. 132 supply to only 47. Beta 500. For those late StarCraft nights. Man, that stuff is good. It's gotta be like just sugar, right? Alright. Abby moving out here. Still floating 1,000 minerals. And a couple barracks not producing here, so Abby slipping just a little. Oh, she's maxed out. That's why he's maxed out. Okay. So, Abby gonna lay siege to this planetary fortress. The stim bio can just move into it. Unfortunately, Invalid busy protecting the 3rd expansion that he's got, and that planetary fortress is gonna go down immediately. Luckily, all the SCVs survive. There is a stim to try and catch a couple of them, but that's a big stim, and there's not there's plenty of medevacs, actually. Poor SCV that didn't get the orders. Hey, we're not mining for that base anymore. Hey, man. Oh, sorry, I didn't tell you. Ouch. However, Invalid has a great siege tank spread. Look at this. Siege tanks all over the ramps, the high ground, all of it. So Abby going to shark around a little bit and try and find a place to set up and do some work against these siege tanks. Scans going down, of course. Abby's entire army is shown. Fifth base for Abby has been established now. So both players' mains mined out. It's turning into quite a long game. Goodness gracious, I'm glad we started this best of 5 very early. 3-3 about to finish up for Abby. She's going to have some very dangerous Marines and Marauders here. I like that Abby has mixed in so many Marauders. I keep calling her a she. I'm so sorry. I'm sure you're watching the VOD, Abby, on YouTube later. I apologize. It's just habit, I think, now. Oh, jeez. Invalid trying to build another base here, but it looks like, oh, a Doom drop pickup, and here we go. Everything loaded into medevacs. Gonna go into the main. Gonna get spotted by this 4th base and go straight up into the main. There's nothing here to defend. A couple missile turrets actually, but it looks like the medevacs are gonna get them down. The medevacs are gonna get their entire payload down. The tanks sieging up in the main, and the production facility of Invalid is now in trouble. Tanks going way down. Picking off the missile turret, the initial command center forced to lift off, but this huge bio force gonna move forward and start cranking out all these tanks. Invalid incredibly supply blocked. Gonna go for the base trade, just heading all the way across the map. Now things can get interesting. So Abby has nothing to defend back home, but also there's no production facilities left over. Oh my gosh. Okay, so all the production facilities for Invalid are cleaned out. Also completely supply blocked, so can't build anything else out. But Invalid is now moving into Abby's base to attack as well. So it looks like we're going to see full base trade all the time. Now, what it might come down to here is starports. Which player still has a Viking on the map? I don't know if either player does. Let's keep a look at the units tab as nobody's producing much of anything. Abby going to pick everything up into medevacs. I'm not sure that's a very good idea. That's very, very dangerous. Got a bunch of stuff here on the low ground. A couple Vikings as well. Looks like this expansion has been spotted, but the army from Invalid collapsing now in on Abby's natural. Abby's still producing, I think, a little bit here. 5 Marines at a time. But the natural does go down, and this mech force laying siege now into Abby's production lines in the natural. Abby's forces are almost all the way here. But, oh no, there's some Thors here that could get some good shots off on these medevacs. You've got to unload. Abby unloading right on top of all these siege tanks into the meat grinder. Oh no, this is terrible for Abby, I think. The Thors taking out the medevacs right on top of it. The medevacs dropping right on top of all of this, the mech units. Oh no. Is Abby going to be able to survive this? The army supply of Abby is still a little bit higher, but I think it's all Medivacs and Vikings. I don't think there's anything left on the ground for Abby. Yeah, look at that. It's all Medivacs and Vikings. There's only a couple Marines left. Invalid is going to win this thing with just siege tanks and a couple Hellions. Unbelievable. Barracks cranking out Marines, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The starport is taken down. Oh my god, wait. Does Invalid have a starport? Invalid building a starport back home. One starport. Okay, a couple starports. It's fine. He's building a couple starports. So it's going to be all right. I think Invalid probably has this in the bag. I don't think there's a way that Abby can force a draw. The few forces that Abby has are right here, and they're all Medivacs. Couple tanks here, a smattering of bio units, but here we go. Abby picking everything up, moving all these barracks out to this fourth location, but I think it's just a matter of time as the main is cleared out by this massive number of siege tanks from Invalid. Invalid, of course, has another base that he's turning into a planetary fortress. Another orbital command here, and a lot of starports. Not cranking much of anything out yet, but both players definitely need to get their macro back on track, as both players are floating an absurd number of minerals right now. Abby's had this base for so long and just hasn't had the chance to saturate it yet. Oh, jeez. Okay, 5 Marines at a time, as all these barracks are producing now. 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, hopefully all these barracks soon. Tanks picking off every structure they can find, and then gonna go back home, I imagine, to protect Invalid. And I think, is this game gonna normalize? You're kidding me. Planetary fortress protected by barracks, building 3/3 Marines with combat shield and stim against a bunch of 2-1 tanks and battle cruisers. You're a madman, Invalid. You're an absolute madman. This game is still trudging along. The siege tanks here going to siege out this orbital command, try and get enough shots off before it lifts off to at least set it on fire. Invalid going to be doing some trash talking, I think. Just play like Buddy. You monster. How could you? I wish I was a referee right now so I could kick him out. But he's not playing like Buddy. He's building battle cruisers. So, you know, here we go. I usually say play to have fun. Oh, Abby, I like that so much better. Play to have fun. That too, of course. Oh, don't that too. That wasn't what you were thinking. One starport here needs to get a tech lab added on so the battlecruiser number can increase, but I think Invalid could be in really good shape. Unfortunately, Abby building a whole lot of Marines. As long as the Marines can get underneath these battlecruisers, and these battlecruisers don't yet have Yamato cannon, the fusion core... Where's the fusion core? There it is. The fusion core has not yet researched Yamato cannon, which is strange, I think. To not research Yamato cannon and go, you know, full meme. But okay, the tank's going to move into the production facilities for AbyPhantom finally. Abby going to try and take out this planetary fortress from Invalid with a couple tanks going to siege up here, but the army moving right into it. And the planetary fortress needs a mass repair here. Is Invalid going to repair it? Invalid, repair. Invalid goes for the mass repair. And it looks like, oh, I can't tell. There's the health of the planetary fortress. And I'm not sure if it's going to live or not. There's not. All the SCVs are repairing, but it's so close. He's picking off so many things. AbyPhantom GG's, as I imagine the battle cruisers were shown somewhere else on screen. And Invalid is going to take game number 2. Or game number 3, rather. Oh, my goodness gracious. What a match. What a match. That is so crazy. I don't think Abby was all the way out of it, but that was still hilarious. Guys, we're going to put 2 minutes back on the clock so I can get up, get a little breather, and then we're going to go into game number 4 on Kairos Junction. Woo! What a game. What a game. Alright guys, I need to get up and do a couple push-ups before we start this next game. Oh, DeCeCe, you dozed off. I don't blame you, man. It's been a long day so far. Alright, I'm gonna have these players. We're gonna take 1 more minute, and then I'm gonna shut off my webcam. I'm gonna do 10 push-ups, and then we're gonna come back for game number 4. All right, crew, we are back for game number 4 between these two players, Invalid and AbyPhantom. This has been an incredible show. I don't know what else to say. Just an incredible showing from both of these players. They have put on such good matches. They are so evenly matched, and I cannot wait to see what they bring us here in game number 4. We have seen Bio, we have seen Mech, we have seen Cheese, we have seen Macro, we have seen it all. We find ourselves now on Kairos Junction LE. In the bottom right-hand corner, in the blue, it is AbyPhantom. And his opponent, in the top left, in the goldenrod, from Clan Heroes, it is Invalid. And already a twist. Invalid, you sneaky bugger. I said we'd seen Cheese. I said we'd seen Macro Games. We have seen it all now. Here we go, baby. Double proxy barracks. What? Okay. Double proxy barracks. Surely he's going Marines with this, right? Usually, yeah, and there's the third barracks. It's gotta be. It's gotta be a Marine rush here. So let's see what Abby's going for. Reaper so far. Abby, I think, is saving up for that low ground command center. Oh, that could be really bad. Okay, 1 SCV for Invalid going back home. Reapers. Oh my god. Mass Reaper? Are you kidding me? Okay, Mass Reaper. We got a command center on the low ground here. 2 Reapers on their way out now. You guys making fun of my push-ups? Come on. This is so weird because I'm seeing the chat from 2 minutes ago, and it's always just weird to live in the past. Okay, Reaper's coming out now. The scout from Abby has come out. Abby's looking around saying, what the hell's going on? The low ground command center is still on, and there it is. The Reaper has scouted what's going on, so I'm not sure how many of those barracks Abby saw. Just 1 barracks. But with 2 Reapers out, it should be pretty obvious what's up against. So, oh my god, the Reapers have killed now. Okay, 1 kill on those Reapers, 2 SCV kills, and they're going to go into the SCV line. There's not a whole lot here. The SCVs are pulled from Abby, but this could be a really early game here from Invalid. If he pulls this Reaper rush off, he wins, folks. He gets the bronze medal, the 3rd place match. Okay, 3rd Reaper has arrived now. Reapers need to be microed back here. It looks like he's going to lose 1 Reaper to a Marine. That Marine with a good kill there. Actually, a Marine with a 2nd kill there. He's going, oh man, gets the kill. 3 Reapers into the main base. There's nothing left to defend for AbyPhantom. Invalid still cranking out Reapers 3 at a time. Another Marine does come here, but a Marine versus 2 Reaper is not a good thing. Abby's SCV's doing a great job here. The Reaper's great focus fire there by Invalid. A good alley-oop kill by an SCV here. And it looks like Invalid just wants to go home, plowing out 3 Reapers at a time. And I'm not sure that Abby can respond anymore. Invalid has done a great job of picking off Reapers one by one. The bunker attempting to get started in the mineral line there, but it's not going to happen. The natural expansion did finish, but unfortunately there are going to be no SCVs left to mine from it. 3 Reapers are in the battle now. 4 Reapers are in the battle now. 1 Marine is in here, but it's going to get picked off immediately by 4 Reapers, and that has got to be the end of the game. I think this is the death knell for AbyPhantom. 4 Reapers, 4 grenades, 4 games for an amazing best of 5 series in Platinum Heroes 1. We are now seeing your 3rd place champion, AbyPhantom, given the grats. Well played on both sides. Absolutely well-earned victory from Invalid. Congratulations to our 3rd place winner, Invalid, and to his heroic opponent who fought bravely in all the matches we watched, AbyPhantom. Very well played. Again, both of these players will be awarded $12.50 for earning 3rd and 4th place in the Platinum Heroes 1 tournament, and we certainly hope they will come back for Platinum Heroes 2, which should be happening quite soon.